The third round of negotiations between Ukraine and Russia are due to be held today. Foreign ministers from the European Union also meeting in the southern French city of Montpellier to discuss the situation in Ukraine. Well, that crisis is also top priority at the UN's top court in The Hague. The International Court of Justice opening 2 days of hearings into Ukraine's request for its judges to order Russia to halt its invasion. Ukraine presenting its arguments this morning. Russia was meant to do so tomorrow, but so far has been absent and is apparently not sending a delegation to that World Court hearing. Here's more now from our Hague correspondent, Fernande Van Tets, speaking to France 24's Stuart Norval earlier today.
This is at the top court of the UN where states can take each other. But because Ukraine and Russia are not actually signatories to a treaty that would allow them to face off here, they've brought this under the the Convention Against Genocide, as you just said. Now, Russia has used the fact that allegedly genocide is taking place in Ukraine to justify the invasion. And Ukraine has come to the court to say that is not true. They want the court to say there is no genocide happening. And therefore, the legal basis for this war is false. Now, today we will hear from Ukraine. Tomorrow there will be arguments from Russia. These are so-called provisional hearings. And that is not to decide on the substance of the case, so that's not about to prove whether a genocide is actually taking place, but it is to find out if the court has jurisdiction. Now, I have to say that this is a pretty novel way of arguing. Usually the court cases here, you will see one state arguing that another state is committing genocide, not that it is not committing genocide. But it's also a fast way to get a ruling, because a court case here can take years. During these provisional hearings, there can be provisional measures implemented, and that would mean that the court could ask Russia to stop fighting. And that is, of course, what Ukraine is hoping for to achieve here this week.
So, Fernande, let's just assume that that does happen. The court rules in Ukraine's favour. But does, of course, this court actually have any real powers to take that forward to try and enforce the decision?
Well, so legal scholars actually they do think that that could happen because there is no legal basis in international law to stage an intervention to prevent genocide. But if that happens, the court has very little power. I mean, usually, I must say, provisional measures issued by the court are implemented. Technically, what could happen is that they could go to the UN Security Council to enforce that these provisional measures are carried out. However, of course, as we all know, Russia has a veto on the UN Security Council, so it's very unlikely to allow itself to be sanctioned for not implementing those provisional measures. So you have to see it more as a kind of a diplomatic booster for Ukraine's position. If they do win here, that it will be harder for other countries to support Russia's invasion on the world stage, as it clearly then contravenes international law.